Yes, welcome to a bonus edition of SMX Insider, SMX Insider Extra. Jason Thomas, Jason Wygant, and our statistician Clinton Fowler is here with some Fowler's facts, specifically on the perfect season for Jett Lawrence. So what's the first thing that sticks out to you when you see Jett go perfect here? In this case, 22-0.
Yeah, Weege, the first thing for me is to remember we've got 5 perfect seasons in the history of the sport. You go back to the first one in 1998. Ricky Carmichael in the 125 East Region wins 9 of 9. And then you've got the 4 that we've been talking about all summer long, or the 3 that we were talking about, and now the 4th. You've got Ricky Carmichael in 2002 and 2004. You've got James Stewart in 2008, and now Jett Lawrence in 2023. So impressive years. You just got to put them up there with the all-time greats in terms of ball sport seasons. I think about the 2007 New England Patriots, of course, didn't finish that Weege in the playoffs though, right?
No, they did not. No. You, man from New England, yes. You want to call that a regular season title? Yes, the New York Giants picked them off. We got playoffs coming up. Who knows what's going to happen? But yeah, to do this, I think what impresses me is we already know how good Carmichael and Stewart are. So if you just join them in the club, to me, that really illustrates how special you really are, and not much more needs to be said. But you do have some stats to actually compare their perfect seasons with his a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely, Weege. There's some great comparison points. There's a few stats we can look at. The first one we'll take a look at is laps led. And you look at RC's seasons and you look at Stewart's. Those guys, 97% of the laps led. Jett, only 92%, guys, only, right? Obviously, you got to say that with tongue in cheek here. So the edge to the old guys, if you will. But the thing that sticks out for me on laps led is in 2004, Ricky Carmichael led 183 of 185 second moto laps. JT, it's amazing. There was 2 laps that he didn't lead the entire season in the second moto.
Yeah, and I know you're wondering, I was not the person that led those other 2 laps, just to put that on the front end of this. But yeah, I mean, you're talking about the all-time greats. Ricky Carmichael, of course, has the nickname the greatest of all time. To lead that much of a season, I don't know that we'll ever see anything like that again, right? Jett had a valiant effort to come anywhere close, but that is utter domination. And I say that now, but you look at Jett in his first debut 450 season, what he did, maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe he'll go lead every lap of an entire season, because he's only going to get better from here, in my opinion. But the stats that these guys put up, for the newer viewers and the younger audience, you need to go back and watch some of the domination that James Stewart and Ricky Carmichael put out there, because to have them in the booth and sharing their insight now, these guys did it, right? No one ever did it better than these couple of guys did. And now we're watching history being made again through Jett Lawrence.
What about all the other pieces, like qualifying and things like that, Clinton?
Yeah, the next one that I love to look at is speed, and just who had the fastest qualifier, who was fastest in the motos. RC, fastest qualifier every round, fastest in every moto in his seasons. Just impressive domination, to your point, JT. James, I tease him a little bit. He had the fastest qualifier every round. He only missed out on being fastest in every moto by 1. It was the last round. I think, JT, you were noting that maybe he was taking it a little bit easy in that last moto. And in comparison to your point, JT, Jett, fastest qualifier in 10 of 11 rounds. So he missed out on 1. And he was fastest in 17 of 22 motos. Chase Sexton brought a fair amount of speed throughout the season, so a little bit different. And so I think it also kind of highlights Jett's managed the racing different than, say, Ricky Carmichael or James Stewart, JT.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a different approach. I think Jett brings a little bit more race management to his style than those 2 did. They wanted to embarrass everyone. And I say that with every ounce of meaning in that word. That's who they were. They were killers. And you hear James Stewart use that word about Jett because he, game recognizes game. He can see that in Jett, right? And we'll see as Jett progresses, does he up the ante where he's like, you know what, I don't have to play around. I don't have to win by 3 or 4 seconds. I'm just going to start really putting the hurt to these guys. And that's yet to come. But so far, he is taking the approach where I don't care if I win by 2 seconds or 20 seconds, as long as I'm putting 25 points up at a time, that's okay with me. And in the end, they're all perfect and the results are the same. It's notable the difference in the way they go about it.
Yeah, and that's the way that he's always gone about it, even in the 250 class. And I always say the Lawrence has played the long game, not the even season-long game, but the only thing that's going to derail this over the great body of work is a massive crash and injury, and he has really done a lot to mitigate the risk. And I know, Clinton, you're thinking, is it too early to start talking about both SMX but also Supercross next year? We usually see rookies crash a lot. I don't know. Maybe Jett will be able to get away from that rookie trend as well. What do you think, Clinton?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely bodes well, right? Jett seems to manage it in a way where in Supercross, rookies tend to come out and implode or have a really bad race or have crashes. We've just seen it over and over. So I think maybe Jett's approach and the Lawrence family's approach to Supercross will be different. Weege, the last thing I do want to call out is perfect days in these perfect seasons. Guys, this one for me, this is just a celebration of how good these guys were in their championship years. Fastest qualifier, led all laps, won the motos. Ricky Carmichael in 2004, 6 times. James Stewart in 2008, 6 times. And Jett Lawrence this year, 5 times. Just absolutely, like, to think about how much they dominated, Weege, absolutely amazing. And you've got to remember Jett did this as a rookie. Like, maybe that's a little bit of the asterisk that says it's a little bit more impressive than Ricky Carmichael or James Stewart's.
Yeah, and recall that there's one less race here. He had 11 races, and they had 12, so he had 22 motos, and they had 24. I think we've all agreed that if we had one more round, I don't know if that necessarily meant Jett was barely going to get it done. But so yeah, but I feel like the rookie thing makes this an even bigger highlight. And JT, I want to ask you about this. Sexton said in the press conference that he feels like he was riding better and better since he came back at Redbud. But here's the thing. Jett was probably improving too. We talked so much about wait till Ferrandis gets this bike dialed, or Sexton returns, or Cooper Webb gets his outdoor legs back under him. Jett's bound to keep improving as well. And that's what's going to make it so tough on these guys, JT.
Yeah, it really felt like Chase left the season thinking, you know, if he was as good as he was at the opener, he beats Jett there, right? Like, Chase had gotten better, but he also gave Jett credit for improving too. And you don't often hear guys be really transparent and honest about how others are improving or where they stack up against another rider, but to see them both, you know, and I think Jett has given Chase a ton of credit throughout the season too, because he knows he's the only rider that can really keep him in sight most of the time. So yeah, it's just the steady improvement, and now we roll into these SMX playoffs, and everybody's kind of peaking. I think everybody, if you look at them individually, is on their best form or approaching it. So it really sets up nicely to see who can make that transition back to this, or I guess not even back. It's more of a hybrid style racetrack, and who can adapt the most quickly.
Well, that transition is key, because Jett did reveal to us in the pre-race press conference before the Ironman that he did think he could win this title this year. And I don't think that's very far-fetched. We've seen rookies do that in 450 motocross before, but he said he really knew after he won the opening round. And at that point, he was coming in fresh, ready, excited. Sexton was coming off the back of a Monster Energy Supercross title that usually takes a lot out of a rider emotionally. It was that day right there where it went sideways for Sexton. It went great for Jett. That really paved the way for a lot of this. Now we've got another one of those transitions. Sexton said, I'm really excited to put the Supercross suspension back on when we go into the playoffs. So, Clinton, I know you'll have the calculator ready. I know you'll be there. It's going to be a nice little showdown brewing between these two for sure.
I'm looking forward to these 6 motos in the SuperMotocross playoffs, Weege.
So are we. It's going to be good. See you folks there.